Dear committee members, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of HB15. I also want to thank the representatives who have introduced and supported this legislation. As a child, I played basketball for my middle school and high school in Smithsburg, Maryland. And I remember when I was 12 years old, I was kicked out of my basketball game and had to give up my position simply because I was wearing a hijab. It was one of the utmost dehumanizing experiences of my life, and it instilled within me a deep feeling of otherness and inferiority to my white counterparts. Justice Warren stated in the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court in Brown v. Board, which ended formal segregation in public schools, to separate them from others of similar age and qualifications solely because of their race generates a feeling of inferiority as to their status in the community that may affect their hearts and minds in a way that is unlikely to ever be undone. This statement is also true of barring religious minorities from participating in athletics. It reinforces a white supremacist hierarchy where religious minorities and students of color find themselves at the bottom and psychologically defeated. It is past time that we pass legislation to ensure this type of Islamophobia and discrimination does not occur and send a clear message that it is not tolerated. So long as we do not pass this legislation that protects our freedom of religion in athletics, organizers, referees, and other athletic participants can arbitrarily enforce rules to deny access to Muslim women and other individuals. We will effectively be allowing private citizens to enforce state-sanctioned discrimination under the guise of arbitrary safety rules. As someone who was raised in Hagerstown, Maryland, I received threats and harassment on a daily basis where students would call me terrorist, raghead, Osama's daughter, and also sometimes I would be afraid of being physically assaulted. I felt unprotected by the school, which led to violent internalized inferiority that I am still undoing to this day. The Assembly's decision of whether or not to protect religious minorities is not only about the athletic space, but also the general lack of care and lack of protection of religious minorities in educational institutions. If the Maryland General Assembly enables individuals to discriminate against religious minorities in athletics, they further enable teachers to look away when a student is being harassed or Islamophobic. The decision to leave religious minorities vulnerable will enable white supremacists, Islamophobes, anti-Semites, and bigots. The Assembly's decision will ultimately contribute to the culture of tolerance of discrimination in our institutions and state. You have the opportunity to send a clear message to the religious minorities in the state that we care about you and we will protect you. I respectfully urge your vote in favor of the Inclusive Attire Act. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
For sharing your personal story with us. Akil